Hey, people. Story has it that this cat named Moses had received these tablets of the law of God in this ancient Phoenician script in the ancient Hebrew language. And after this, he thought it'd be a good idea to write the first 5 books of the Bible, the Torah, that were inspired by God in this ancient Hebrew language. Allegedly. But if this story wasn't true, it would take a huge conspiracy, because they probably have more than half the people in the world believe in this. And the conspiracy would have to be huge. It would take more than just one man's word. So I'd never been one to go along with the crowd just because everybody else was doing it. And so I spend most of my time reading this ancient Hebrew Bible. And I find words all the time that I know, and I look them up to see where they're from. And here's one right here. They say it means to tell. It's legid, L-E-G-I-D. Legid. They add some extra letters here, but it's a L-E-G-I-D, legid. As in a ledger, the watch writes in his ledger. And it doesn't mean that's what happened. It means, allegedly, because it was in the ledger. That was what's written, what happened. That's what the watchman said. You see this word's in Strong's category 5046. And 370 times through all these different spellings. But 25 times just here with this legid, meaning to tell, telling, to declare, to shew, declare. And so I often look up words, some that I don't know and some that I do know, to see what Wiki has to say about them. And I always look for etymology. And so this word allegedly, it comes from this word allege, they say. Allege, alleged. And I always go down here to the definitions in word origin. And they say it comes from Old Latin, lis, lit, or lawsuit, or Old French, to Old French, isligier, and then to Latin, allegar, to allege in the modern or Middle English. And most of the time I run into a Hebrew word that's used in the English. They'd never say any of these words come from the old Hebrew. There's a huge conspiracy to quiet this down. They don't want people to know English comes from the old Hebrew, what they call Hebrew, from the Teutonic language, was the first language. The language change affected everybody else's language, not the English. So they divided the English speakers up, and they put them in 3 different places out on islands away from everybody else. They put them in America, they put them in Australia, and on the British island to separate them from everybody else. Because they didn't want people to catch on to this language, allegedly. I spend a lot of time in old books written by people in the know. And this one was written here in 15, 16, 17, 25, and 1728. And it says that the English tongue, the language spoke by the people of England, and with some variation of those by Scotland, the Englishes of the Gothic are the Teutonic extraction. This was the root or stock upon which several other dialects have been since grafted, particularly the Latin and French, come from the Teutonic language. Teutonic means to shape, and the tonic is the tone, to shape the tone. So the older written languages didn't have a sound to go with them. You look at the picture language and you figure out what the word meant, and then this later came on with the shape and the sound, and that's how I used to decode a lot of this ancient Hebrew, they call it, because it has a shape and a sound to it. So I'll leave the link to this two-part cyclopedia here. It's split up, I think, A through L, and then the end. But I said that last movie that I was going to do a movie on this job one, and I'm still reading through it the first time, the 17, and it's talking exactly about what I said it was. It's about the Eye of Ra, and you can see here this is Samiel. Words beginning with A read backwards in the ancient Alchemical Teutonic language, Samyel, Samiel. That's why all your angels, they end with the El, Samiel, because it's God read backwards. The sons of God, the fire from Yel, Samiel. And you can see here fell, it looks like the Nephilim. The Nephilim, this is the same word they'll say Nephilim, the fallen, N-P-L-E-M. They're spelled a couple different ways. But yeah, that's the fallen Samuel is talking about here. And from heaven, fell from heaven. Not the fire of God fell from heaven, but Samuel fell from heaven. And so these are just things that they don't want you to know that's in this book. But this is in Job 1, and it's Job in God dealing with Satan here. But it has a bunch of clues in it that's in here in the interpretation, in your hand and touch. And it's talking about the parts of the eye from Ra, Mara, the evil eye. And these are 2 feet. And this is why the statues always have the left foot forward. In the ancient statues, this is the left foot forward. And you see the word they use for evil in here, M-R-A, M-R-O, from Ra, and from the head's eye, and that's the head's eye known as. And many people believe that this is what it's depicting, is over here at your pineal gland, and that's the head's eye. And when you visualize something, this is where it comes from. All the eyes do is they turn light into electric pulses, and it sends this pulse back here to your pineal gland, and that's where it creates visions for your mind. That's why you can be in pitch dark and dreaming and have visions, because they're all created in the head's eye, in the Ra, the evil eye, in Mara, from Ra, the evil eye. And God and shuns the Mara, not the evil, but from the head's eye. And you can see this again. This is to make Ramiel. Ramiel was one of the fallen angels too. But yeah, I'm reading this one slower than any of the others, and it's mainly because I'm getting it more, and I'm going back to match it up with the pictures to get a better understanding on the first reading. And I'm chasing a lot of these words through. In like this word for evil, Mara, you see there's 667 times it comes up with all these other spellings. But this one here, Mara, is only found in Job, in Psalms and Proverbs, once in Isaiah, and it's always comes with, then the Lord keeps evil, and in Job it's the word before this was Ramiel, to serve Morah, God in turning evil, God in turning evil. So it's not God in turning evil, it's Ramiel. It's you're not catching the word in front of that is Ra, R-A, and then Ramiel, to Sir Marah, to use first from Ra, from the head's eye. Ramiel was the first to use the head's eye, and he was the angel of God till he fell. And so all those, everything you think you know about it is backwards. And I'm working on getting it all straight. So I'm going to cut this off here and I'm going to get to working on that chapter. And this is going to explain why this ancient art put Moses in horns. Because they knew the truth. Alright, good day.